Boom! What is up, Waves Capital? It's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about a few growth stocks that I'm personally keeping an eye on right now, and that is because they look like they want to break out. So these stocks are going to be familiar to most of you, and that's because they've provided us with some beautiful trades over the past couple of weeks and some amazing returns as well. But I still feel like there's more upside ahead. I don't think the party's over just yet. And I do think that a nice short-term second wave is in the cards for the names that we're going to be covering today. So I'm excited to dive into the charts with you guys, talk some price targets on the following names. You already know what they are. We'll kick it off on the charts with good old ARK Innovation ETF and or ARKK. Move on to Unity Software, or ticker symbol U, and close it out with the hottest stock of the summer. That has been performing pretty damn well since we made that video. Again, all three of these have provided Waves Cap with some amazing trades lately. But again, I'm excited to see what the short-term future holds in store for them, even considering they've been performing pretty well lately. Okay, so those are the three names we're going to be covering on the chart today. Again, talking upside price targets, of course, talking some levels that I'm personally keeping an eye on, and also levels that I want to see broken in order to be pretty convinced that we will be seeing that short-term upside that I'm already expecting. So, of course, we will talk technicals, but first I do want to read over this CNBC Pro article titled Cathie Wood's ARK Innovation ETF could be headed for an explosive breakout, chart pattern suggests. So, the reason that I wanted to kick off the video by reading this article is pretty obvious. It's because it perfectly aligns with the video that I had planned today. We're just talking about these three stocks. So, what better way to kick it off than with some external analyst validation? Let's get to reading. But before you do, you guys, please give the video a like. It means a lot. I do appreciate that. And subscribe to the channel if you're new around here and want to catch more content like this. Just hit my watch on my little laptop shelf thing. Okay, so anyway, let's read through this puppy. ARK Invest CEO's Cathie Wood's flagship fund could be headed for a sharp bounce if a bullish technical pattern is to be believed. There is a bullish ascending triangle in place in Wood's ARK Innovation ETF, according to Douglas Bush, founder and CEO of ChartSmarter. And the so-called ascending triangle is created by price moves that allow for a horizontal line to be drawn along the highs and a rising trend line to be drawn along the lows. The two lines are closed, forming a triangle. It's pretty funny reading these like CNBC articles about technical patterns, and it's just, if you guys have been watching for a while, I'm sure most of you are pretty well educated at this point, especially if you're still involved in this market and whatnot. I imagine most of you are pretty well educated on technical patterns. You guys have done your due diligence, you've done your research. If you're subscribed to the newsletter, I mean, we're talking technicals literally every day, multiple charts a day. So, this is very basic, but again, it's a good sign in my opinion. And really the reason I wanted, because we're just going to be reiterating this. The real reason I wanted to talk about this is because it's good when articles like this come out simply for optics, okay? The technicals are already looking good. Growth stocks are already oversold. They've been due for a bounce, and I do think that some continued relief for growth sectors is coming. So just, it's like a cherry on top, right? Like when we see an article like this, obviously it is external validation for us. I gotta freaking move this thing. Super annoying. It's like, I call it a shelf. It's kind of a shelf. It's like this thing right here. A laptop stand. It's obviously a laptop stand, but I do gotta move that out of the way. Sorry, you guys. Anyway, still refining the new Wavescape. But, yeah, you guys, this is just a great cherry on top. If every other metric is starting to lean bullish, and it's important to preface this by saying that the macro backdrop is still bearish from a longer term perspective, just because of the general uncertainty that's out there, and recessionary fears are always going to be looming. But I mean, we did get overextended. The fear went from fear to extreme fear, and we're still floating in extreme fear. I just covered that in this morning's newsletter. But yeah, we are still in extreme fear. I do still think that growth stocks, at least over the short term, once again, we are focusing solely on the short term right now. So talking a week, maybe 2 weeks out, I do think growth stocks will see some sustained relief. I'm very, very worried about Q2 earnings come up late July into the month of August. But we'll cross those bridges when we come to them. For now, though, I do think that that plays like ARK and the ones we're going to be covering, Unity, Roblox as well, and many other growth sectors, growth stocks, that across growth sectors that we may not be covering today. I mean, shout out to CRISPR. CRISPR's been doing the Waves Capital portfolio freaking beautifully lately. But there are a lot of growth stocks out there right now, you guys, that I do think could see potential upside over the short term, but these are my preferred horses in the race, and always know my money's where my mouth is, okay? So let's keep reading this. Higher lows since mid-May keeps getting pushed back near $47. Break above there could be explosive. Bush said the breakout might have already started as the ETF gained 9.1% on Tuesday for its best daily performance since May 13th and for its second positive session in a row. Before the recent leg up, the popular investor had a tough 2022. Didn't we all, right? As her disruptive technology darlings have been amid the biggest losers this year in the face of rising interest rates. ARK is still down a whopping 52% year to date, falling 65% from its 52-week high. But recent macroeconomic moves may be confirming what the ARK chart is saying in the charts. Both oil and rates have rolled over in the last 1 month, actually very recently, just this past week. I mean, oil fell like $10 over the course of the 4th of July weekend. And rates are, the Fed just came out today. Fed minutes did just come out, and they're still going to raise interest rates. But the rates in the credit markets are starting to ease up a little bit, okay? Because the credit markets ultimately price in what they predict the Fed will do from here, okay? So both oil and rates roll over in the last, easing inflation fears that have wrecked growth stocks like the ones Wood owns. Wood told CNBC recently that our clients are mostly sticking with her in new mostly. Very keyword mostly, and new money is coming in as investors seek diversification in a down market. ARK has had more than $1.3 billion in inflows this year, according to FactSet. I would like to see how many of those inflows have been in the past month, but if investors like myself at these levels, ARK, you guys, at these current levels, I'm very, very comfortable with holding ARK for the long term at these levels. And if you saw in my portfolio, I do have in the Waves Cap portfolio, I've had a position in ARK for quite a while, and I have been accumulating a lot of the names that are involved around that ARK ecosystem, because ultimately, like you guys, I have talked down on ARK, and Kathy can glorify certain things, but that's kind of her job, right? She's passionate. She's passionate about innovation. That's why she started this ETF. But again, you guys, things got so overextended, and now we're just at the opposite and equally as polarizing end of that spectrum. So like one polar opposite of the spectrum being those all-time highs we saw in November. The opposite end, again, harder you climb, the harder you fall. The higher you climb, the harder you fall. In the case that something goes wrong, something went wrong, everything fell harder than it, even harder than it climbed. Things fall a lot faster than they can climb. But just looking at this chart right here, you guys, and we will talk about this kind of little symmetrical triangle that we can see. The fact that everything's been going sideways lately is a very, very good sign. And that's what I like to see following a massive crash, following that massive sell-off. Like if we zoom off here, this massive sell-off, it's got a price range right here. Price range, the sell-off from April 4th, to May 12th. So over the course of a month, ARK fell 50%. So following a sell-off like that, the fact that we bounced and we've pretty much been trading in this sideways range, virtually from like $35 to about $45, but mostly sideways. Obviously, a lot of volatility. This is a trader's market right now. A lot of volatility, but the fact from a macro perspective, from like an overall reversal perspective, when we can start making our way back up slowly but surely, I do think that now is that time. And again, the sideways price action, the capitulation, as you may have heard it said, and that's what it's called. It's capitulation, but pretty popular term in the crypto markets, especially during crypto winters. But capitulation is good, and capitulation pretty much just means sideways price action. Okay, so before we talk about ARK, you guys, I've been throwing little side blows about the newsletter and whatnot over the course of this video. But if you guys do want to know how I'm trading on a day-to-day basis, you want to know what call options I have on ARK, Unity, Roblox, CRISPR, Riot Blockchain, all the good ones we talk about here all the time. You want to know when I'm buying more shares of these companies, when I'm buying the dips, when I'm selling when I'm buying puts, when I'm hedging, what I'm buying puts on, how I'm hedging my portfolio. Again, that is going to be the first link down in the description. Didn't click on this yet like I usually do. There we go. So Royce Jacobs portfolio newsletter, also known as Waves Capital Portfolio. A complete breakdown of my personal portfolio that I update every single trading day during market hours. And with every update, I also send out an email newsletter or email newsletters because I send out 3 every morning. The trade alert, the macro analysis, and then the price targets where I include 4 to 5 charts every day and talk about real-time price targets for you guys. That is going to be $15 a month or $40 for every 3 months. That is completely up to you, but give it a shot, you guys. You can always unsubscribe, but I mean, I'm biased. I feel it, but I obviously feel it's worth it. So go check it out. Once again, this is the first link down in the description box below. I trust you won't regret it, and I'll see you on the inside. Okay. So that aside, let's talk about ARKK, good old ARK. So ARK, as this article implied, this is what they were looking at right here. This is it is an ascending triangle pattern. You could say it's an ascending triangle pattern. But it's not quite an ascending triangle. There is a very, very solid base around here, right up, or like from 45 to 47 bucks. We could pretty much call this, I guess. We'll call it an ascending triangle. This is definitely close enough to an ascending triangle for me to call it. So ascending triangle right here. Here are obviously the base, the roof of this ascending triangle. So flat top right here, you're seeing kind of multiple tops, a lot of resistance around this $45, $46 region, along with this little ascending, this is creating the wedge formation, obviously, because it's going up. It's in an uptrend with that roof. So we are in this ascending triangle pattern. Historically, this can create a bull flag. I am a bit worried about this potentially being a bull flag, but I think we've been trading sideways for long enough following this big sell-off. So I'm going to discredit the potential that there's a bull flag here. Zoom back out. But I do think that this will be resolved soon. A big reason for this, as I was implying in the beginning, our favorite pattern, our patented 2-wave pattern, the good old 2-wave. So we saw this first wave right here, right? Big parabolic move up in ARK. Following the relief it saw since that low, came up, saw some relief, sold off once again during some of that fear in mid-June. But we have made a strong comeback. And at this point, you guys, just from a general fear perspective, the Fed minutes just happened. The markets didn't really react to them. There wasn't too much volatility, which I actually do like to see, considering, especially considering yesterday was such a crazy day for the markets. Like Unity and Roblox, they did correct a little bit today, but yesterday they were both up like 14, 15%. So it has been a great week so far. I do like the fact that the Fed minutes didn't catalyze much volatility in the greater markets, just because it shows that a lot of the potential Fed intervention is already priced in, even the darker scenarios. But the fact that interest rates, for the most part, I would say, in my opinion, are mostly priced in, is good news for specifically growth stocks that have been just so overly beaten down. And again, interest rates, oil, recessionary fears just kind of dissipating a little bit. That is very, very important. So I do think, all that to say, I do think that the second wave is in favor. Again, big wave, first wave up right here, just first move up. ARK did break this yellow line right here, which I want to emphasize because it's very, very, very significant. So this is a significant line of resistance right here. ARK touch point right here back in November at that high we saw in late November. Touch point. Boom, next touch point here, creating a line of resistance. Tested once again over here just for that third point of clarification. We did break above that, came up above it, came back down, retested long-term resistance as new supports, which you absolutely love to see. And I do think this is the base of the second higher low. So low, high, higher low, and next up is probably going to be a higher high with that second wave. And I do think that this ascending channel, or ascending triangle pattern will be broken out of. And I do think that ARK could see, potentially by week's end, definitely early next week, I think ARK can see at least $50 by next week. So $49.50, $50 by next week. We'll round it up to 50, okay? So price target for ARKK next week, $50. Let's move on to Unity. This is currently my favorite trade in the entire market right now. And I actually established a pretty a pretty exciting position on this morning on top of my other positions for Unity. So Unity is still, let's just kind of preface this by saying Unity has gotten so ridiculously smoked, and I do want to highlight this line right here. So Unity from peak to trough, from the high, again, this is way too high. This valuation could not be rationalized either. Okay, you don't want extremes on either end of the spectrum. That goes for pretty much everything, and that's why we're now in the process of mean reversion, which is good when we're at the lows because mean reversion means more upside. Okay, so Unity from top to bottom. It's almost an 87% correction to those May lows. Since then, again, Unity has been bouncing back nicely, but it's still well below even this previous low. That is my, excuse me guys, talking a lot. That is my ultimate target for Unity, okay? Ultimate target for Unity is going to be up here around like 73, 74 bucks from a technical perspective, and that's because it hasn't yet retested this previous low over here, okay? So I do think that at some point in the future, whether it's 1 month, 2 months, hey, maybe it happens, it doesn't happen until early 2023. I do think that definitely over the course of the next six to 12 months, just play it super safe, Unity can come up to $73. So if you guys have a long time horizon, I think Unity is a great buy right now. But when it comes to the short term, I do think that Unity is looking so poised for some upside. So let's first address this right here, this line of resistance similar to ARK that ARK just broke through. Unity is closed the day, and it is Wednesday, July 6th at the time of recording. Unity closed the day. So yesterday, or just earlier today, I'm sorry, we were able to break above it and not close a 4 hour. You guys know I always like to see 4 hour candles, even more preferably daily candles closed above significant trend lines to confirm a change of direction, an overall macro change of direction, which we haven't seen, but Unity is currently sitting right on top of that. If Unity can't see a green day tomorrow, which I think will happen because I'm bullish on, I just said I'm bullish on ARK. Unity is a both Unity and Roblox are actually large holding positions, large holdings of ARK Innovations ETF. So if ARK does well, it's very likely that Unity and Roblox do well, if not even better. So if Unity sees a green day tomorrow, that would mean, and closes in the green at all tomorrow, that would mean that Unity has officially broken above this very significant line of macro resistance, and we are now in a technical breakout. So on top of that, Unity has seen a massive wave up. So you can see here from June 16th to June 27th, Unity saw a 50% move to the upside. And I do think that the second wave, you guys, a lot of times the second wave is more significant than the first wave. This market could be a little different because, emotion is still in play and kind of like a retail speculation to some extent, but it's way less than it was when we were doing our crazier two waves, like the small wave up and then the tsunami. This is just kind of probably two consecutive waves. So could be bigger. I'll just say it could be the same as well. So in the case that we can see another 50% move up similar to this one off this new higher low, again, low, high, higher, low, probably set a new higher high. I do think that Unity can make its way up. It took Unity, I think, 8 days here from the 16th to the 24th. So yeah, just say 8 days. 5th would be the 13th. So if we test this on the 13th, that would take us up to, if this is exactly mirrored, which isn't necessarily likely, but definitely possible, I do think that we could see a $53.50 Unity. Even better than that, say in the case that we come up here, test it on the 14th, test this Scion line right here, which has not yet been tested. We came very close, but I still think, just based on the laws, the technical gods, this does need to be tested. This previous line of support, significant line of support that once broken, saw a massive sell-off, so definitely confirmed as a line of support, has not yet been tested, has not yet been retested as new resistance. I do think this can come into play. Best case scenario for Unity, just where this trend line ends right here, July 14th, $57 Unity, and that's still well below, like, you guys, once we clear this previous high over here, if Unity can break 47 bucks, we're kind of in blue sky territory because there's not much error. There's not many levels that acted as obviously no support here because we just fell off of a cliff. But if Unity can break 47 bucks, like $48, I think it'll be pretty easy. Honestly, be a pretty easy climb to the high 50s, maybe even low 60s. Okay, so that's Unity. You guys always know. Once again, my money's where my mouth is. It's very possible. Hey, this is very strong resistance. Maybe we get rejected here, but I I am feeling bullish on Unity. And once again, just know my money's where my mouth is. Okay, so let's close out with good old RBLX, hottest stock of the summer. So Roblox, amazing day yesterday. So I think what closed the day up like 14, I think just over 14%. So Roblox did see a little pullback today. Roblox has been outperforming many names in the market. Here's a good example of that previous resistance, this yellow line, previous resistance come into play as new support, broke above that, saw a little rally, came back down, retested previous resistance as new support, saw that second wave up. So I do think Roblox, again, if I'm bullish on ARK, if I'm bullish on Unity, I'm bullish on Roblox, and I do think that for all the reasons that I've been saying, the newsletter and that video I made, kids are on summer, kids are not going to stop gaming, kids don't care at all about recessionary fears. Like when I was a kid, I didn't, and there was talk about recession. And luckily, my parents did a good job at kind of just shielding their children from recessionary talk and kind of what could be perceived as scary talk. But I mean, kids, the point is, and I'm sure you guys understand, kids don't care about recessions. There's a select few, I'm sure. You got the nerds like us, the little children nerds like us out there who might care about it. But for the most part, kids want to game. They're going to game. They're going to play Roblox. They're going to buy some Robux with mom and dad's credit cards. And I do think that Roblox will see a very impressive summer of revenue. And I think many other investors are thinking that as well. Because the volume on Roblox is amazing. And just the price action recently has been amazing as well. So I think that Roblox, the upside, in my opinion, for Roblox is more limited, just because Roblox has done significantly more mean reversion than Unity. That's why Unity is my preferred pick right now in this market. But Roblox, I still think can see some upside from current levels. I do. My initial target when we started trading Roblox all the way back, like in early May, after we saw that initial crash down to like low 20s, has been like $43 to $45, just because there's kind of a lot going on in this range right here. So my range target was around $45. So I will say that like Roblox can definitely go higher. Like this area is a very significant ceiling for Roblox. So I wouldn't be surprised also in the case that we do see a $50 Roblox again. Is that super likely? Maybe over the coming months. What that translate to? So that translates to about 30% of upside from here. And I do think that's very possible. But I don't think that above 50 is possible just yet in this macro climate. But personally, just conservatively, my target for Roblox is going to be about $45. Let's call it $45, kind of meet in the middle. But again, Roblox is a very promising name, and I do think that $50 over the fall, definitely by fall winter is definitely possible. Okay, so that is the video, you guys. Please let me know in the comments down below if you're trading these names with me. Once again, if you do want to know how I'm trading these on a daily basis, that's going to be the first link in the description box down below. And also let me know in the comments what your favorite stock is right now. If you have another stock that you're really eyeballing, always like hearing what you guys have to say and taking just insight from you guys. So I'll talk to you in the comments downstairs. Until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Make waves. Peace, guys.